Hey there, this is Nick, and in this video, I'm going to answer the question, does Amazon hire certain candidates only to fire them later on? The answer to this question is absolutely not. I want to get my inspiration for what questions I answer based on the feedback that I see from you on my YouTube channel. So if I go to the comments and response status, I haven't responded, and I apply, you can see what I mean. There's this question here that I've left untouched for a while, for a year now. And the question is in response to the video, does Amazon hire certain candidates only to fire them later? Which is exactly the same topic I want to talk about now. And this person says, I've seen it happen. Poor L4 got pipped in 3 months, was in focus after 1 month, in pivot after 2. So the hire to fire myth comes from the fact that Amazon applies a forced curve during their performance reviews, where 5% of all employees are riffed, are let go every year, give or take. And during regular years, that curve is at 5% or thereabout. During recession years, like the ones we've gone through over the last couple of years, that curve is much higher. There's whole teams that are being let go. And that does not happen because managers hire to fire their employees. That happens because business is bottoming, companies like Amazon are losing money, and so on and so forth. So in those tough years, the hire to fire logic is out the window. In 2024, when I'm recording this video, the software space is starting to slowly emerge from the recession. And Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Meta, they're starting to beat their results again and grow again. So these times are becoming to look more normal than what we've gone through so far. And in times like these, the 5% curve comes back into effect. I still think that the hire to fire point is a myth, and I'll give you a few data points to illustrate my assertion. Point number 1 is that newly hired employees are often let go during their first review cycle, but that does not happen because the hiring manager premeditated letting them go later on. That happens because the hiring manager does not want to fight for that employee during the performance reviews. The employee has struggled for a reason. Maybe the employee has struggled because the hiring manager was a poor leader and a poor manager. Whatever the reason was, that employee is struggling, and the hiring manager is not willing to put up the fight. And they allow that employee to be riffed, not because they were hired to fire it, but because the hiring manager is too lazy or unable or unwilling to fight for them to stay at the company. The second data point is that if hire to fire was a thing, it would be much easier for the hiring manager to offload the employee to another team internally at Amazon, because at that time you would get your head back and you're not going to have to go through the same headache of letting the employee go. Especially that during years of recession, if there's an open position and if the hiring manager were to fire somebody, there's no guarantee that they're going to get that head back. It's much more likely that this head would be sequestered by the powers above. The third data point that I want to offer you is that there are systems at Amazon that measure the hiring efficiency of the company. Why is that? That is because it costs a lot of money to successfully hire a new Amazon employee. I will not tell you how much that is because that's confidential information, but I can tell you that it's thousands upon thousands of dollars for each new successful hire that Amazon makes. And because of that, Amazon has put systems in place where they track the performance of recruiters, of bar raisers, and of hiring managers. What this means is that if a recruiter hires people and a lot of them are let go, that recruiter is going to be penalized. A bar raiser, similarly, if they preside on loops that approve people to be hired and those people are later let go, the bar raiser is going to be asked to explain what's happening, and maybe even they're going to have to be recertified. Same with the hiring manager. If the hiring manager is leading teams that have a high turnover, then that hiring manager is going to be evaluated and asked what's going on. I think the reason why this myth of hire to fire persists is because when employees get fired, they're exasperated and hurt, rightfully so, and they come up with these explanations which they think make sense to figure out why they were let go and hire to fire is an easy way out to explain why they were let go. They don't know how Amazon works and all these checks and balances that are in place to prevent this from happening. So in closure, even though this video that I recorded 2 years ago is now absolutely dated, even though it doesn't capture the latest developments that we've gone through a recession and now we seem to be emerging out of it, it still holds. These Amazon principles of the culture, the 16 leadership principles, the bar raiser, the hiring bar, which people must raise, those principles and the checks and balances around those principles absolutely do not allow for hire to fire to be a widespread practice at Amazon. I hope this was a useful video for you. If it is, please subscribe to this channel. But more importantly, please comment on my YouTube page. Send me questions. I would imagine some of you might disagree with what I just said. Please let me know. Please stay in touch. The very best of luck with you as you get ready to ace your Amazon interviews. I know you can do it. Chin up.